is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are South.
On a beautiful Friday night in Atlanta, it's time for Braves baseball, and the Braves will try to slow down the red-hot Washington Nationals. Washington's had the Braves number all year. They've won 14 of the 16 matchups head-to-head. We'll see if John Gant can put a stop to that tonight. Hi again, friends. With Hall of Famer Tom Glavine, I'm Chip Carey. Our partner Joe Simpson is setting a new record for Georgia shrimp and Chardonnay consumption down at Crab Daddy's in St. Simons. Joel, join us for the series wrap-up on Sunday. Congratulations to Freddie Freeman, his wife Chelsea, new baby Charles born yesterday. So no Freddie Freeman in the lineup for Game 1, Tommy, but Braves have a very apt replacement in the batting order tonight.
Yeah, they sure do. Look, you never want to take a bat like Freddie's out of the lineup at any time, but when you do, it's nice to know you got a guy you can stick in the third slot in the lineup like Nick Markakis. He's been unbelievable, probably the quietest 84 RBI season you'll ever see, and he's really been doing his thing. He's healthy this year. He's going out there. He's driving the ball, and you see in his last 9 games a .371 average with 3 homers and 9 RBI. So I think he's a pretty apt replacement in the number 3 spot in the lineup tonight.
This Atlanta offense has been in high gear since Matt Kemp came over in trade, but they're going to have to be against Max Scherzer tonight. Yeah,
I tell you what, he's as good as it gets. There's all kinds of numbers we'll be throwing at you tonight in conjunction with Max Scherzer, and here's a few of them. You see, leads the National League in strikeouts and whips, second in wins. He's had an unbelievable season and really been a nice sign for the Nationals, and certainly has lived up to that contract thus far.
And as good as he's been, he may have to be even better with Steven Strasburg disabled with a bum elbow. John Gant gets the ball for Atlanta in Game 1. We'll get to our first pitch and starting lineups on a Friday night in Atlanta GA next.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Nice crowd here for Friday night fireworks, and our last look at the Washington Nationals in 2016. John Gant takes the mound, and Tommy, he's both started and relieved for the Braves. Looks like John is settling back into a nice groove in rotation after missing some time due to injury.
Yeah, kind of back and forth, like you said, some injuries. Finds his way back in the rotation now. You see in 15 games, 6 starts on the year, 1-3 with a 4.4 ERA in 43 innings pitched. So tough task ahead of him tonight against this this Washington lineup, and his 4 keys to success. Pretend it's late. Innings 1 through 3 this year. 4.76 ERA and a 2.69 batting average against. 4th inning on 1.59 ERA and a 1.71 batting average against, and 5 guys. Nationals are one of 3 clubs with 5 guys with 20+ home runs on the year. So control those 5 guys. Try to keep the ball in the ballpark.
And here is the Washington lineup for Dusty Baker, who's back with the club after not managing on Wednesday because of a death in Dusty Baker's family. Trey Turner's been a Braves killer. You know all about him. Worth, Murphy, and Harper, all 3 of those guys with 20 or more homers. Rendon has 18. Wilson Ramos hitting .304, a free agent to be, as their 6th place hitter. Zimmerman, Stephen Drew instead of Espinosa at shortstop, and of course Max Scherzer will pitch and bat 9th. Braves have had no luck at all against Washington this year. They are 2-14 against them. And to your point about early offense for this Washington ball club, I know you've talked about it a lot. First innings at times were a troublesome spot for you. What does John Gant do to avoid that against this hot-hitting Nationals team? You know, we talk about it all the time, and it's, you know, you can try things, whether it's warm up sooner, warm up later, you know, throw more, do all that stuff. But honestly, I think more than anything else, it gets to be a mind game. You just have to go out there and trust your stuff and trust what you're doing. And I think more times than not, you get so caught up in going out there and getting off to a good start and not making mistakes that you pitch a little bit too defensively, and you need to find a way to almost have that chip on your shoulder from the start. Well, let's see what he does with Trey Turner, who's hitting a robust .340 on the season. And a first pitch strike, and we're underway. Mark Ripperger has the plate. 84 degrees in Atlanta. A few puffy clouds overhead. Beautiful night. And that's low and away. You look at the 16 games that Trey Turner has played against the Braves, and the numbers are simply eye-popping. I mean, this kid has done everything. He's hit for average, he's hit for power, he's stolen bases, he's made great defensive plays. And he's taken over as the Nationals' everyday center fielder and leadoff man. And you don't get him, you've got big trouble in the early innings.
No, absolutely. With the boppers coming up behind him, you see what he's done in 16 games there, 407 average. So it's been a pretty impressive early start to his career.
That's popped out of play, and Turner will face a 2-2 count. Daniel Murphy standing right next to Dusty Baker. He's due after Jason Worth bats. Worth stands on deck. And Gant's 2-2 pitch just missed. High hopper. Dansby charges. Bare hand play. Not in time. Infield hit for Trey Turner. Swanson did all he could, but once again that man Turner uses his blazing speed, and he reaches to start here in the first inning.
Well, puts the ball in play, tries to utilize his speed. Like you said, Dansby did everything he could possibly do to make that play, but Turner just a little bit too quick down the line, and infield single to start things off.
Blake Lally with a stretch at first in there for Freddie Freeman tonight. And here's Jason Worth. Worth at 246, 20 homers and 62 runs batted in. Jason's not done an awful lot of damage against the Braves this year. And he takes a strike. Worth hitting .208 against the Braves. 10 hits in 48 tries this season. And that caught a corner. 0-2.
Good pitch. Stay at the bottom of the zone all night long. You'll have success down there.
Looked to be a strike, but not called. Up in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That is something we have seen a lot over the last month. High strikes, at least on Fox tracks, are strikes, but not getting called.
It's just a hard pitch for umpires to call consistently up there. You know, and it's obviously in 2-strike counts, you know, guys are more apt to go up there on purpose, but more times than not when you're up there it's an accident, you know, and so that makes it even harder, I'm sure, for an umpire to get a read on it. But just like I said, it's a tough pitch to call on a consistent basis.
Turner leads. He's going. The pitch is popped into right field. A base hit. Turner around second. He's on his way to third, and Jason Worth just ladled that ball into right field. And the Nationals have runners at the corners on back-to-back hits and nobody out.
I don't know if it was a hit and run or not, but
he's going. The pitch.
Certainly a hit and run type swing with 2 strikes. Got the ball out over the plate and just poked it to the right side with the second baseman covering. And if you're John Gant, you got to fight the here we go again, you know, infield single. Arguably had a guy struck out, and next thing you know, it's first and third, nobody out.
And now you're facing the potential MVP of the National League, Daniel Murphy, who has had situations like this a lot for Washington. 102 RBIs for Murphy. And riding a 12-game hitting streak. There's a strike. Murphy leads the league in hitting at .348. He's hit 25 homers. He's cracked 45 doubles. And he is making a strong case to follow Bryce Harper as a Nationals MVP.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's probably a little behind the 8 ball where he's not that home run type hitter, but man, he's driving runs in with everybody else.
And would you have imagined that Daniel Murphy would do this? Always been a good hitter, but not like this.
No, I mean, and I'm probably as guilty as anybody. Like you say, he's a good hitter, but you saw what he did in the NLCS, and you know, you thought to yourself, okay, well, maybe he parlays that into a nice contract or something, but can he do it again? And I'm not so sure I thought he could, but man, he's backed it up.
That's outside. 2 balls and a strike. First 30 pitches in a game are often indicative of how things will go for John Gant. His 14th pitch of the inning won't be made. Instead, it's at first.
Yeah, see their pitches 1 through 30, a .338 average against with 4 homers, and then 31 on, settles down, kind of falls right in line with the first through third inning numbers versus the 4th inning on. So see if you can find a way to get a double play ball here and keep it under control.
Got that call at the bottom of the zone. Murphy didn't like that call. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
You know, and here's where I think things are a little bit different too for the Braves pitchers now, where the Braves offensively have been scoring some runs. You know, you don't have to feel like in this situation, man, I better get out of here with no runs or I'm not going to have a chance. You know, I think the way they're scoring runs, it's got to be that more of that mindset of keep it under control and let my offense do what they've been doing.
Murphy pops up. That'll help. Lally and Beckham. It'll be Gordon Beckham, a late addition to the lineup. And there's a big first out. Big pitch. He got Murphy to pop out to second, and now the double play is in order with Bryce Harper coming up.
Well, nice sequence of pitches there against Murphy, and got the pop up, and not sure things get any easier, but maybe a little bit easier, but not a whole lot.
I would imagine looking at a lineup like this makes you glad you're sitting up here.
Yeah, exactly. Like you say, so often you look at a lineup and think, all right, who can I pitch around? Who can I go to get outs? And I'm not so sure there's too many guys in this lineup that you're saying, yeah, I can get him out. I'll go after him.
Harper's hitting to 10 double plays this year. And he flinched and took a ball low. 1 ball, no strikes. Harper has an amazing stat line. 246 batting average, not nearly as good as last season. 24 homers, 81 RBIs. He's scored 82 runs. He's only struck out 103 times. He's walked 103 times.
Yeah, I was impressed by that number. I didn't figure he had that many walks. I knew he walks a lot, but not that much.
And of those 103, he's been walked 18 times intentionally. A lot of those came in one series against the Cubs.
See, their highest percentage of walks in Major League Baseball, 17, almost 18% of the time. It's pretty crazy.
Braves have a shift on for him. Dansby playing behind the second base bag. And Harper made Gant throw a strike. Nationals are starting their final road trip of the season. It's a long one. 3 here in Atlanta, 3 in Miami, and 3 against the Pirates. Low and away, ball 3.
I'm thinking John Holland and Fred Stone and probably the other 2 clubhouses on this trip need to hire a few extra hands for all the luggage and all everything else with this team. There is a lot of people traveling with these guys right now.
3 balls and a strike. Worth at first, Turner at third, and the pitch is low. Harper takes ball 4, and the bases are loaded up. Last time we saw the Nationals was in D.C. And the last time we saw Anthony Rendon hit with the bases loaded, he hit his first career grand slam. Rendon trying to get into that group of 5 Nationals with 20 or more homers. He's 2 away with 18. Rendon's slam came against Williams Perez. Turner, Worth, and Harper are aboard for the Nationals in the first. And many a time the first inning has been their magic inning at the plate. Looks like an east-west strike zone, not so much north-south.
Yeah, east and west for the most part. A little bit down, not, called a couple pitches down. Missed a couple pitches up, but I think most pitchers will tell you they'd rather have a little bit of leniency on the bottom half of the strike zone than the top half of the strike zone.
Fouled away. And this is something that Joe talked about in John's last start, Tommy. He has a good fastball, and it really surprised a good number of the men he faced in his last outing against the Mets.
Well, look, I don't care how hard you throw, you have to pitch off your fastball. You have to show that you can command that. Makes all your other pitches better, and if you don't have that, then you better have some really good off-speed stuff.
Line into left, that's a base hit. Turner scores. Here comes Worth around to score. Harper will stop at second, and Anthony Rendon on an 0-2 count lashes a single to left, and it's 2-0 Washington.
Well, it's been a little bit of bad luck to get Gant into this situation in the first place, but that was not bad luck. Too good a pitch on 0-2, went back to the breaking ball, left it over the middle of the plate, and Rendon didn't miss it. Got the inner half of the plate. I'm sure they were trying to go down with it, maybe get him to chase, but threw it for a strike, and that's too good a pitch for too good a hitter in that situation.
So 78 RBIs for Rendon. And Wilson Ramos, the Nationals catcher, stands in. He's had a breakout year. This is his free agent year. He won the last game played by the Nationals. He hit a solo home run that sank the Mets.
And boy, what a rarity and a commodity he is in today's game. A catcher that can throw and catch and hit. He will be a highly sought after player in the free agent market this winter.
He's a candidate for 2 if he can get the ball on the ground. There it is. Swanson charges, flips to second one. Beckham the turn, and Lally the stretch. And Ramos hits into his 15th double play of the year. That limits the damage to 2 Washington runs in the first. Max Scherzer coming on next. Strikes for 2 in the top of the first. Now Max Scherzer goes to the mound for the Nationals ball club, seeking his 17th win of the year.
Big right-hander has been pretty good. Here you see some of his National League rankings. 16 wins, tied for second, ERA 6th. Opponent's average second, strikeouts and whip first. So he's had a great season. Predominantly a strikeout guy, throws hard, 92, 97, and sliders is pretty much his most used secondary pitch. That's 87 to 91, but he is racking up the strikeouts.
251 of them in just 203 2/3 innings. And here's a look at the Braves lineup. Very different without Freddie Freeman batting third. As we told you, Nick Markakis moves up in place of Freddie, who is expected to be back here tomorrow. And congratulations to Freddie and Chelsea on their baby boy born yesterday. Kelsey Wingert will have more on that in just a little bit. Ender Inciarte hitting .288 for the year. 3 homers, 27 knocked in. And Scherzer with that buggy whip delivery quickly ahead at 0-2.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts, and it doesn't stop just there. Got a lot of movement on his fastball too.
Scherzer's one that the Arizona Diamondbacks might say, wow, can we do a do-over? He was a first-round pick in 2006. Then they traded him to the Tigers with Daniel Schlereth for Edwin Jackson and Ian Kennedy. And he just struck out Ender Inciarte on 4 pitches, 1 up and 1 down. Scherzer last year won 14 games in his first year with Washington. He's already blown by that this year. He made 33 starts, 276 strikeouts. And he's 1 for 1 tonight. Here's Adonis Garcia.
Double-digit strikeout games, the most in Major League Baseball this season.
Fly ball well hit center. Turner going back. He is going to make the play. Garcia hit it hard, and he's retired for the second out. I guess you could say, Tommy, he's really a throwback pitcher in so many ways. More strikeouts than innings pitched, far fewer hits than innings pitched, but that 200 innings pitched number just jumps out at you because he pitches so deep in the game, even with relatively high pitch counts. But he's so efficient despite striking guys out.
Well, he is, and he stays healthy. He's making 30+ starts a year, 200+ innings a year, and like you say, in today's game, that's become more and more of a rarity. But I mean, he's, like you said, I think the key word there is efficiency. For a guy who strikes out as many guys as he does, he's not doing it in 5 or 6 innings throwing 140 pitches.
And would you say that's an evolutionary thing for a pitcher in the major leagues? You get to 2 strikes, the ability to finish that guy off in 1 or 2 pitches, not 4 or 5.
That, and also learning to pitch to contact to where you can be efficient, where you can get those 1 or 2 pitch outs and get your strikeouts when they present themselves.
2 balls and a strike for Markakis.
You know, he's 92, 97 in the zone, and you know, you'll see some guys go up there aggressively and put the ball in play on the 1st or 2nd pitch, but if it's down in the zone and in a place where they can't make good contact, that's an easy out for him.
To center, Turner retreats, and that takes care of Atlanta. 3 outs very efficiently for Max Scherzer. He did that on just 10 pitches. 2-0 after 1.
Trail 2-0 as we head to the 2nd inning, and I know you all saw Freddie Freeman running out of the dugout Wednesday night. We knew his wife Chelsea was expecting their firstborn child at any moment, and I also noticed that Freddie is not in the lineup today. That is because baby Free is here. Charlie was born yesterday afternoon, and everyone is happy and healthy. Their firstborn. So a big congratulations to the Freemans from our entire Fox crew. Brian Snicker tells us Freddie will be back and playing tomorrow afternoon. And also Anthony Recker back after his 2nd son was born, Grady Vito. So congratulations to him and his wife, Kelly.
Nice report, Kelsey. Congratulations to both.
And that's going to be a familiar sign for Anthony. Get your sleep on the road, buddy.
Good point. We're old men. We don't have to worry about that stuff
exactly.
for a while, do we?
That's right.
But what a wonderful week for those 2 really good guys and their wives and families. Congratulations all. As Ryan Zimmerman leads off. 2-0 Nationals. And that's up and away. Ball 2. Guess if there's a little bit of a concern about this Washington club, you look at the numbers of Ryan Zimmerman and you'd say that's not the Ryan Zimmerman we've come to appreciate.
Yeah, no, his production certainly down a little bit, and battled so many injuries over the past few years, and it's been tough getting in the lineup consistently and staying in there and getting in that groove and whatnot. But look, still you got a lineup where a guy like this is hitting 7th in your lineup. That's a pretty good lineup.
2 balls and a strike. And hard hit to Dansby Swanson, who fires across in time. And Zimmerman's retired, 1 away. Stephen Drew, the batter. Drew at .269, 7 homers, 17 driven in. Braves saw him up in Washington, had 3 hits, one of them a home run. And a strike to Drew. Drew's a valuable guy because he can play everywhere on the infield, but more importantly, Tommy, late in the game you need somebody to hit a home run. Well, that's in his family's DNA.
Yeah, left-handed bat certainly helps, and a guy like you say that can play anywhere, but particularly that shortstop position. It's such a luxury to have that guy that if you're it seems like the shortstop position more than any other, you lose that guy, man, you really need to have somebody that can play defense for you, and he certainly can do that.
Well, I think that's what's so intriguing about this Washington club. They have so many interchangeable parts. Trey Turner can play second, he can play short, he can play center. Drew can play everywhere in the infield. Rendon could play first or third or second. Espinosa can play anywhere up the middle.
Well, I think that's a little bit of the trend in baseball nowadays, and certainly
that's skied toward left. That's slicing away from Kemp. That's near the line, and that's foul.
But certainly you look at the two best teams in the National League, the Cubs and the Nationals, I think are 2 very similar teams in that regard. And I know Joe Madden with the Cubs loves to kind of play with those guys in terms of different positions they're playing and things of that nature, and kind of keep everybody on their toes. And Nationals can do the same thing. And I think if you have a ball club that's versatile like that, I think it helps you stay out of a rut if you have a guy or 2 that gets hurt and is going to be out of the lineup for a little while. But also, look, if you're a kid at home watching and you want to play in the big leagues, play as many positions as you can. Never going to hurt you.
Taken low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He had a shot of Daniel Murphy. He's played first base as well for Washington, not to mention second base. So there are a lot of different combinations for Dusty Baker here in the final 2 weeks, as that one's off the plate, full count. Nationals are a little short-handed. Seems funny to say in September.
Yeah.
But Danny Espinosa not with the club tonight. He too on paternity leave. As Drew takes a walk, and Gantz issued 2 of those. So 1 on, 1 out. Max Scherzer is the batter. Here's your National League playoff picture up to the moment. The wild card race awfully tight, and the Nationals hoping somehow to perhaps catch the Cubs for the best record in the league.
Yeah, it's gonna take some work for them to make up 6 games over the course of the rest of the season, but stranger things have happened. But the wild card certainly doing exactly what the powers that be would hope it would.
I don't know if you saw the pictures of Wrigleyville last night. The Cubs lost their game yesterday. All the Cubs fans went home, and the Cardinals lost in San Francisco. So the Cubs clinched the division without having to deal with the celebration around Wrigleyville. Where's the pitch to Scherzer, which is bunted, and Gantz got it. He will flip to Gordon Beckham at the bag. 2 outs. All the pundits in Chicago said, basically, look at the bedlam around Wrigley Field. Could have fired a cannonball down Clark and Addison streets last night.
That's kind of a bummer to have it happen that way, but that's all right.
I'm pretty sure they're going to make up for it tonight.
I'm sure.
As the Cubs came back and won 5-4 today in 10 innings over the Milwaukee Brewers. So Scherzer with the sacrifice. Drew at second. 2-0 Washington. 2 outs here in the second. And here's that man again, Trey Turner. Braves just got through seeing Ichiro Suzuki do a lot of damage in the 3-game series here with the Marlins. Well, with Trey Turner hitting .343 now, his average is highest by a National League rookie with at least 240 at bats since Ichiro Suzuki hit .350 in 2001 with Seattle. If you're compared favorably to Ichiro Suzuki in anything offensively, you are doing great things.
Yes, you are.
.40 pitches for Gant with a 2-0 count.
Good pitch there. Got him out in front of a changeup.
Is that a cutter?
It looked like it. Something that was just kind of kept running away from him.
Very effective pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Turner's the 10th Nationals hitter. 4 of them have seen a 3-ball count. And this one's hit high in the air toward left center field. Inciarte sprinting. He is not going to get there. Trey Turner goes into launch mode and hits another homer against the Braves. This one a 2-run shot. And the Nationals have doubled their score. It's 4-0.
Got a fastball up over the plate. Didn't miss it. He's got some surprising pop, particularly for that part of the ballpark.
We're going to have to start calling him Mike Redmond. Enough of this stuff. Turner.
Please don't.
22 hits in 49 at bats against the Braves this year. That's his 4th home run and 14 RBIs. And he's their leadoff hitter. So 4 runs on 4 hits. The Braves bullpen is stirring already with Jason Worth in the batter's box. He too singled in the first. He punched a 2-strike pitch through the open hole on the right side.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you kick yourself over as a pitcher. You have 2-out or 2-strike mistake with the bases loaded, and then a 3-2 mistake with 2 outs, give up a 2-run home run. Those are the things that you look at over the course of an outing or course of time and realize those are the things you have control over, where you got an opportunity to get through an inning or get out of an inning, you got to make that pitch, and obviously the good ones do it.
Bouncing ball up the middle, that'll sneak through. Worth is 2 for 2. And again, here comes Murphy. Washington as a club has the 4th highest number of home runs in the National League. Five guys with 20 or more. Rendon with 18. No National League team has ever had 6 players with 20 or more in the same season. So here's Murphy. Murphy with a 2-point advantage over DJ LeMahieu of Colorado for the National League batting average lead. It's now 1 point. 347 for Murphy, 346 for LeMahieu. And pop foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Weber is the first man up and throwing. Murphy second to Nolan Arenado in RBIs. He's first in the league in multi-hit games, second in hits. Second best home batting average, third best road batting average, best average against righties. So my question to you, Mr. Glavine, are we looking at the league's MVP?
You know, it's hard to argue against him. I know Chris Bryant obviously is going to get a lot of attention, and I don't know if, you know, being in a little bit bigger market and kind of being the lovable Cubbies, so to speak, if that's going to weigh any in people's minds when it comes to voting. But
runner goes. That one stroked toward the gap in right center. That's going to roll forever. And Worth is going to score. Murphy has a 2-out double. So it's a 5-0 Washington lead. Murphy with his 103rd RBI. And the list of MVP candidates in the National League looks this way. My question to you is, and you had to deal with this on your own pitching staff, will the vote be split with Chris Bryant and Rizzo opening the door for Murphy and or Arenado?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I think Arenado is, you know, we've talked about him. I think he's one of the best pure hitters in the National League right now. And I think obviously Colorado playing out there and not being in contention is going to hurt him. But, you know, I think for me, it's between Murphy and Bryant. And if it's for me right now, I'm giving the nod to Murphy. I think he's just brought so much to this team, and he's such a balanced hitter in terms of his power, his batting average, his hitting with runners in scoring position. I mean, to me, he's been the complete package.
Braves are going to walk Harper again. And Rendon's going to come up with 2 on this time. He has a 2-run scoring hit. We'll see if Gant continues on with 2 outs. As Harper trots to first again. Let's play devil's advocate as Brian Snitker's on his way out. One thing about Chris Bryant, he too a very interchangeable player. He has a lot of defensive flexibility, perhaps more so than Murphy. So I think, like you, it's going to be a fascinating MVP vote when that time comes. Time has come to get John Gant. John just didn't have it tonight. He's given up 5 runs in his first inning and 2/3 tonight. And Ryan Weber strides in to try to put out a second inning fire.
Braves baseball is sponsored by Delta Airlines, your local Ford dealer, the Home Depot, and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Well, Washington 5-0 here in the second inning. It's time for tonight's Cold Hard Facts, brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And all too often, this has been the way a game between the Braves and Nationals has started in 2016.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the Braves have not had much success, as those numbers will bear out, you know, but in the Braves' defense, last 6 losses against Washington have all been 2 runs or less. So they've been competitive. They've been in some games, but like you say, there have been a handful of games that have kind of been like this as well, where they've been out of control early, and hopefully Ryan Weber can come on here and stop the bleeding a little bit and give the Braves bats a chance to go to work.
And he'll face Anthony Rendon, who hit a 2-strike pitch with the bases loaded that scored the game's first 2 runs. Rendon now with 78 RBIs. Talk about having a comeback within a season. You know how many RBIs Rendon had in April?
I saw that. He did not have many.
Uno.
Yeah.
One RBI. He has 77 since May 1st.
Yeah, sometimes when you get off to those slow starts, you wonder how deep a hole is too deep a hole to get out of, and certainly Rendon found a way to get out of that.
Murphy and Harper the runners. The pitch from Weber is up and in, and Rendon got hit.
Not sure if that was a sinker that got away from him or if it was a slider they were trying to go down and away, but nonetheless, the bases are loaded.
And Ramos is coming up. Ramos hitting to a double play. $5-0 Nationals have the lead. And that's poked off the screen foul. It's 0-1. Nice story on Ramos in the Washington Post yesterday or today, talking about how his impending free agency really did sort of affect him for about a 3-4 week stretch. Big drop off in his average, his power, not to mention playing virtually every day in the heat and humidity in Washington. Got kind of worn down mentally and physically, but his family got him mentally refreshed. He's recharged and trying to finish strong, and what we've said a couple of times is a very important month and postseason for Wilson Ramos.
Yeah, he's got a chance here the last month, and you know, as Washington's hoping deep into the playoffs to show what he can bring.
Nice stop. 1 ball, 2 strikes. This is one of the terrific acquisitions made by the Washington front office to snag Ramos from the Minnesota Twins. 1-2 your count. And that's taken low. They got Ramos before the Nationals were the juggernaut they are now. They traded Matt Capps and cash to the Twins and got their main catcher.
That's a pretty good return on that trade.
And Ramos 29 years old now. Last year played in 128 games, the most ever in the major leagues. Hit just .229. He had off-season eye surgery, which has helped his vision. And perhaps that has helped his production too. Bouncing ball to short again. Dansby's got it. He'll flip to second. And the second inning comes to a close. 9 men come to the plate. 3 more score for the Nationals. Trey Turner does it again. It's 5-0. Behind Max Scherzer, as Tom said, you have to have hope that the Braves somehow, some way will continue their trend of terrific offense since acquiring Matt Kemp.
Been everything the Braves wanted him to be since acquiring him. Put him in the middle of the lineup, anchor things there, certainly give Freddie Freeman some protection, and you see what the Braves offense has done since he's been here. 5.2 runs a game, 277 average, 789 on base, OPS, excuse me. Walks, doubles, all near the top in terms of National League rankings. So he's done what the Braves have wanted him to do, and it's amazing sometimes. And we've talked about it, how just inserting that one guy in the lineup just makes it look so much better and so much deeper.
You played here when a certain man by the name of Fred McGriff got plugged into the lineup, and things worked out pretty well, didn't they?
Yeah. Yep.
So Matt Kemp, 1 hit away from a personal milestone, digs in against Scherzer and takes one up and in. Kemp has 1,499 major league hits. Driven toward right field. There's 1,500. And it's going to be an extra base hit for Matt Kemp. .36 doubles for Matt, and there's the first Atlanta hit.
I hope somebody's going to get him the ball. Okay.
Look who's applauding Matt Kemp. Daniel Murphy at second base. That's a lot of hits, man.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So that ball being authenticated, that'll head to Matt's trophy case. And here's to another 1,500 more. Tyler Flowers batting 5th with a chance to bring Matt home. And he grounds one sharply up the middle. That's a base hit. Kemp is going to be waved. Turner bobbles the ball. He's going to score. Throw comes into second and safe. It's 5-1. Kemp broke back to second, and Bo Porter never hesitated. They were sending him all the way. Turner couldn't pick up the ball cleanly, and then the play was at second.
Yeah, ball hit to his right side, so he had to freeze a little bit, saw it get through. And like you said, Bo was watching Turner and watching Kemp and kind of waving him the whole way. And I think Turner initially didn't think Kemp was going to go. And when he realized he did, took his eye off the ball, bobbled a little bit, allowed Matt to score, and allowed Tyler to go to second.
So Gordon Beckham is the batter. The Braves are on the board, and He takes a strike. Scoring on that play, it's an RBI single for Flowers. He takes second on Turner's second error. One ball, one strike. And this one's popped up. And Drew it short, says he's got it. And he does for the first out. Well, as good as Max Scherzer is, and as many strikeouts as he can rack up, I think it's safe to say in his last 8 games against the Braves, he's been rather human. Last 8 times out there, Scherzer's pitched to a .450 ERA. He's won 3, lost 3. He's given up 6 homers in those 8 games. So it's still early enough that if the Braves can find somebody who can get some outs and let the Atlanta offense go to work, we might get a ball game here in the early innings again.
Yeah, as good as he's been and as good as his numbers are, it seems like when he has a bad one, it's a bad one. And you know, he's had a handful of times this year where he's given up 5+ runs. He's got a 7 up, gave up a 7 in 1 start. So if he's off, he's the kind of guy you can put some numbers up against him. So Braves got to keep pecking away.
The other stat that jumps out when you look at Scherzer, for a guy who gets so little contact against him, he is home run prone, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He really, I was shocked at the amount of home runs he's given up, but you know, I think that too is partly he throws as hard as he does, and if his fastball location is off a little bit on a given night, he's going to provide a lot of the power in that scenario.
2 balls, no strikes. And to put it in perspective, including his 2 hits he's given up tonight, Scherzer's allowed 141 hits. He's allowed 26 homers. Almost 20% of the hits he's allowed have left the ballpark.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll have to look and see how many of those home runs he's given up have been solo home runs.
Well, he's gone 3-0 to Dansby Swanson, who's hit a pair of homers against the Nats. And on 4 straight, he walks the Braves' 7th place hitter. And that'll bring up Blake Lally, who's in at first base for Freddie Freeman.
But Scherzer over the last 2 years with the Nats, when he gets at least 5 runs of support, 17-0. So that's a little bit of an uphill climb.
But the Braves have 1 in, 2 on, nobody out, and Blake Lally is coming up. Lally had a hit Wednesday, his first in the big league since early May of 2013. And that one's rolled into the Braves dugout. Foul, strike 1. And if you're just joining us, Freddie Freeman excused from the game tonight with good reason. Welcomed his son to the world yesterday. Freddie expected to be back here tomorrow. So Blake Lally is in the lineup and hitting 8th tonight. And right there for a swinging strike. It's 0-2. Kemp doubled to start the inning and scored on Tyler Flowers' hit. But this is the man that Scherzer wants, with Ryan Weber waiting on deck, Braves pitcher. It's still 0-2. Was there a sense of unease when you'd face a guy like Blake Lally, who's been in the big leagues but then out and back for the first time in 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, anytime you're facing somebody you don't have a whole lot of information on, you know, you're always a little bit uncomfortable because you're not sure 100% what you're attacking based on what you've seen. You know, video doesn't do that for you. It's these head-to-heads that you learn from. And you know, even though you might watch somebody on video that attacks them a certain way or gets them out a certain way, that's not you. That's not you out there. So So much of the trust comes in when it's okay. I've faced him. I've seen how he's reacted to this pitch of mine or that pitch of mine, and it just gives you a little bit more peace of mind in terms of how you're trying to go about attacking him.
Now it's 1-2. And he got the corner called, and Scherzer got a big strikeout, his second of the night, and that'll bring up Ryan Weber.
That was that generous call we've been talking about, the east and west strike zone so far tonight, and that pitch was a good couple inches off the plate.
So Scherzer issues the walk to Swanson. He got Lally to strike out looking. Now Ryan Weber bats in place of John Gant, who gave up 5 runs in an inning and 2/3 tonight. It's almost not fair, is it? Come on.
No, you don't get many at bats. You go up there just looking for a fastball that you can put in play, and here's that nasty slider. But smart pitching by Scherzer. He knows Weber hasn't hit much. He's going to go up there looking for a fastball.
Well, he doesn't want to fiddle around too much because Inciarte's waiting on deck.
Exactly.
So the count now a ball and a strike. 5-1 Nationals, game 1 of the weekend series. Big Fox is here tomorrow. Joe Simpson will be back on Sunday for the homestand wrap up with Tom and me. The pitch. Good cut, fouled back. And out of play. It's 1-2.
I don't know. Joe might eat himself under the DL for a couple more days.
Pretty good chance. Here comes the 1-2 for Weber. And Ramos couldn't hang on. It's fouled at the plate. After our series with Washington, the Braves hit the road. We have our final road trip of the regular season coming up. We will head to New York for 3 with the Mets, then down to Miami with 4 and Florida. Miami's trying to make a late charge into postseason play. The Mets trying to solidify their position. And strike 3 at the knees. Retires the side. The Braves got a run in the blink of an eye, but Weber strikes out. 2 are stranded, and it's 5-1 after 2.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
It's 5-1 as we head to our 3rd inning in Atlanta. Max Scherzer He enjoys a 5-1 lead. We've got a special guest up in our booth. Big Braves fan, big country music star Josh Turner joins us. And I see you've worn the right jersey tonight.
Yeah, I had to show this off. This was the 1969 Phil Necro replica deal that he signed. Where's the camera? There we go.
There you go.
My wife gave me this as a Christmas present 4 years ago, and this is the first time I've worn it. It's been hanging in my closet. And so when they invited me to come out here and pull the number down, I was like, what am I going to wear for the game? And then I was like, I know what I'm wearing for the game.
Nice, so. Nice. Well, welcome. Welcome. I understand you're obviously a huge Braves fan.
Big Braves fan, and I listen to y'all all over the country. You know, we traveling around the bus. You know, there's a lot of hours to kill, you know, on the bus, riding around, and so yeah, in my off time when I'm not on stage, I'm listening to y'all. So it's awesome to be here. It's an honor.
We're thrilled to have you too, and I understand this is kind of a quick pit stop for you here in the South because you got to hit back on the road and head to the Midwest for a concert tomorrow night, right?
Yeah, we're in Evansville, Indiana tomorrow night, and Newark, Ohio on Sunday, and we were in Lakeland, Florida last night. So we're all over the place.
Like us, do you ever put a postcard on the mirror in the bathroom and say, "You're in Evansville, you're in Kansas City, you're in Ocala"?
Well, luckily I'm crazy about geography, and I'm always, you know, looking to see where I'm going and where I've been and all that. But the older I get, the harder it is to remember where I've been.
That sounds familiar, does it not, Tom?
Yes, it does.
We've been there, done that.
Yes.
So you're out promoting your new record. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I got a new single out right now. It's called Hometown Girl, and it's doing great. We're in the top 40, and you know, it's chugging right along. So.
What was the inspiration for the song? Was there a specific hometown girl that you had in mind when you wrote it?
No, I didn't write it. The guys that did write it, obviously, you know, were you know, writing about my female fans, because when you listen to this song, it's you know, like I say, it's the vast majority of my female fan base, and so it's kind of becoming an anthem for them. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that's something you and Tom can talk about. The adoring female fan base that watches you guys and watches your every move, whether it's on the mound or on the stage.
I've heard that about Tom. So yeah.
Looping line drive. Dansby with a dive, and he takes care of Stephen Drew with a terrific play.
He's something else.
Fun to watch, isn't he?
Very fun to watch. Yeah. Good to have him. I never got to see him when he played at Vanderbilt. You know, I've been living in Nashville now for 18 years, but I regret not being able to see him play. So.
Well, you'll have to come back to Atlanta and watch him a little more frequently with the Braves.
This is my first time seeing him live, so this is awesome.
Yeah, he's a terrific player and a terrific kid, as Max Scherzer is in and takes a strike.
Well, Nashville's probably changed and grown a little bit in the 18 years you've been there, huh?
It has blown up. It has blown up. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Luckily I live out of town, but and my wife, you know, when we first moved out of town, she was like, I wish we lived a little closer in. But I'm like, hey, let's just wait a little while. Town's coming to us.
Yeah, so. Right. Exactly. Yeah, we have the same thing going on here in Atlanta, as you know. As Scherzer takes strike 3. It's 0-2. It's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Congratulations on the album. Good luck pulling the number down. It's a nerve-wracking experience. You get a lot of shall we say,
plenty of instruction.
Exactly. Josh, good luck to you. Right. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate
Big Braves fan here in Atlanta. It's 5-1. Washington has the lead.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. The Georgia Lottery. And Synovus, the bank of here.
Well, we could have sat and talked with Josh Turner for another couple innings. He's a great baseball fan, great Braves fan, but he's got to get out there and figure out how to pull down the number 9, and that's a tough assignment tonight.
Well, it's probably going to be more nerve-wracking down there than being on stage, I'll tell you.
Well, Ender Inciarte leads off for the Braves, and as you see, he's our Academy Sports leaderboard tonight.
Major League hits leaders since the All-Star break, 82, and Trey Turner has caught him tonight. So a couple guys in this series that have been red hot with the bat.
Ender pops it up, and that's headed for the seats and out of play. Strike one. Inciarte, Garcia, and Markakis. And a little nubber right out in front of the mound. And Scherzer unloads quickly for the first out. So Ender has struck out, and he's tapped back to the mound. And here's Adonis Garcia. We know Adonis can hit anybody's fastball. He unloaded on Scherzer's fastball in the first inning and chased Trey Turner to the warning track. And Scherzer knew that. So what's he get? A slider.
Yeah, that's changing things up a little bit second time through.
Doubled up, and he's ahead 0-2. Then he got the fastball, and it was at 95 miles an hour and probably looked a lot faster.
Well, it's just a good sequence of pitching and a guy that understands what he's doing and what guys are trying to do against him. Like you said, Adonis aggressive in the batter's box. Typically starts him with that first pitch slider, doubles it up, and then comes back late in the count with the fastball. Pitched him a little bit backwards there that second time through, and just smart pitching.
Scherzer set down 4 straight. He's got 4 strikeouts. And Markakis, the batter, Nick flied out as well. And he gets something off speed. Braves have made a bunch of roster moves in the last 24 to 48 hours. One of them came today when they reinstated Malik Smith from his rehab assignment and put him back on the active roster. Malik Smith will probably get a pinch hit at bat here and there, come in for defensive purposes, pinch run. But Brian Sittker told me before the game he's going with his regular lineup as long as he can. The Braves are playing for something this year, not only the role of the spoiler, but they want to avoid 100 losses. And the Braves enter play tonight with a 56-90 record. Two balls, 2 strikes. Nick sprays one down the left field line. Worth long run, still going. He can't get there. It's a fair ball. Nick Markakis with a 2-out double. And that brings up Matt Kemp with a chance to make things a little more interesting. What a year for Nick Markakis.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, we all knew he could hit. Obviously, the injury last year took him some time to get healthy, but boy, he's been healthy this year and just driving the ball all over the ballpark. And certainly a guy that's well suited to hit in that 3 spot, the way he drives the ball everywhere. But with a guy like Freddie Freeman in your lineup, obviously that's going to be his spot. But it's been fun to watch Nick this year. Good bounce back year for him.
Matt Kemp has an 8-game hitting streak now. And takes a strike. Historically speaking, Matt Kemp has had good numbers against the National League East, but specifically, you'll see in our Home Depot tools from the dugout, he's worn out Washington.
Yeah, 329 average, 17 extra base hits, 24 RBIs. Done nice work against the Nationals and certainly continued it so far here tonight too.
It's a shame there are 2 outs, but I'm going to violate the Vin Scully rule and ask you anyway. When Fred McGriff came here, we talked about the difference that made in the lineup and how similar this situation is with Matt Kemp. Specifically speaking, what did Fred do besides put up big numbers himself to the rest of the guys in the starting 8?
Well, he just gives you, I think probably more than anything else, he just lengthened the lineup, made the lineup a little bit deeper to where it was a little bit harder to pitch around anybody. And not that we didn't have guys in that lineup that could hit home runs or boppers, but I don't, and I'm going off of memory here, obviously. So if I'm wrong, I don't want everybody screaming at me on Twitter, but I don't think we really had that prototypical middle of the lineup guy. We had guys that could hit home runs, but we didn't have that guy that had that kind of experience, that had that kind of presence at that particular time in the middle of our lineup.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And a swing and a tip caught by Ramos. And we'll talk more about Matt Kemp and what he's meant to the Braves offense when we come back. 5-1 Washington, 4th inning at the top of the order due.
It's time for a minor league update with our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. 2 Braves minor league teams in action tonight. Game 4 for Gwinnett. They are currently trailing 2-0 in the 6th inning with Rob Wooten on the mound. They're trailing that series 2-1. Mississippi was eliminated last night after a great season. And Rome in Game 4, they can clinch tonight with Max Fried on the mound. They are up 3-1 at the bottom of the 6th right now. So good luck to those 2 Braves minor league teams tonight.
They've had a terrific season, those 4 minor league affiliates for the Braves, which makes you excited about the future. As we head to inning number 4, Ryan Weber will work his second full inning, and he'll try to slow down Trey Turner of the Nationals. He's 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and 2 runs scored. Great stat on Trey Turner against the Braves. A .449 average, 4 homers, 14 RBIs, and 15 runs scored. Bounced foul. Versus the rest of Major League Baseball in 47 games, 5 homers, 18 RBIs, and 28 runs. So he has single-handedly wrecked the Braves all year.
That's his home run off of Ryan Weber, September the 5th. Drive the deep into left field at Nationals ballpark. So he's, like I said, he's got some surprising pop.
But he's going to have a seat at long last. Weber heated him up with a fastball, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Ryan. 1 away here in the top of the 4th. So it can be done, Tom.
It can be done.
The Braves can get that guy out.
You can get him out, right?
1 away. Here's Worth. Jason's 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. And that slurve was high. 1 ball, no strikes. Worth's had a terrific career. A career that might have started very differently for him as a much younger man. Jason Worth had a baseball scholarship to go to Georgia. Instead signed with the Orioles. I think it's worked out just fine for Jason.
Yep.
Takes a strike. It's 1-2. Orioles, Dodgers, Phillies, Nationals. For Jason Worth, who's down on strikes. 3 in a row for Weber. And Toronto too. Forgot about the Jays. That was Jason Worth's second professional organization. So for Weber, keep doing what you're doing. Hold them down. Hope your offense can catch up. And here's Murphy. Murphy's popped out and has doubled home a couple. Strike after strike from Weber. Murphy, in the first year of a 3-year deal with the Nationals, was the National League Championship Series MVP with the Mets. And Murphy did something to the Mets that hasn't been done in a long time. He had a hit in every single game he played against New York this year, all 19 of them.
Yeah, I saw that in their notes. That's a nice little reminder of, hey, you had me.
Yeah. Oops.
Yeah.
Right. Swing and a miss. What a job by Ryan Weber. He just struck out the side. He has struck out 4 straight Nationals hitters. Tyler Flowers leads off the Atlanta 4th. Still 5-1 Nationals. Turner Field now is your chance to help us determine the team that should represent 20 great years of baseball here at the TED. Voting for the Toyota All Turner Field team is now open. So tell us who you think should man each of the infield and outfield positions in a full 5-man All Turner Field pitching rotation. Visit Braves.com/Turner Field through September 26th and cast your vote. Now, Paul Byrd is not with us. But Paul, knowing that Tom was going to be pinch hitting for Joe Simpson, decided to send a life-sized cutout of himself to encourage all of our fans at home to vote for him.
Yeah, Birdie trying to get everybody at home to vote for him. But Birdie, you're not on the list, buddy. Go away.
Wow. Total diss of Paul Byrd.
The Birdman.
That's a cool thing, though. The All Turner Field team. Has the reality of there being 8 games left in this ballpark hit you yet?
It had not coming in here. It's funny. Mark Bowman asked me that same question earlier today, and it was really the first time I started to think about it. So I hadn't until then, and now, and yeah, it's starting to. I guess it's starting to sink in a little bit. It's going to be weird not coming here anymore.
And just think, who would have thought that both you and I would be able to say we've seen and worked in your case 2 of the stadiums, but you'll have been a part of all 3 when we move into SunTrust Park next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think, like you say, in a relatively short period of time this will be the 3rd stadium, but it's definitely going to be different going in there not having experience playing there.
Tyler Flowers, the batter. He has the Braves RBI, and he was off stride here and pops it to Rendon at third base. Rendon in foul ground makes the play. 1 out. Do you have a specific memory or 2 that jumps to your mind immediately when you think about pitching here, playing here?
You know, I think for me, walking home plate over with Hank Aaron from the old stadium was certainly pretty cool. And you know, I heard Chipper with you guys the other night. He was talking about the All-Star game. That was one of my memories too. That was a blast. You know, being here and playing in your home stadium when we had a bunch of guys on that team. You know, so it was really neat to experience that whole atmosphere in your home ballpark. So that was a big thrill. And you know, certainly we had some big playoff wins here, but unfortunately not a World Series.
High fly ball headed for right center off the bat of the birthday boy Gordon Beckham. But Bryce Harper makes the play, and that's the 2nd out. So Scherzer has 2 quick outs. Dansby Swanson will be the batter. Scherzer walked him on 4 pitches his first time around. So you've had a chance to see Dansby a couple of times in person and afar on TV. Your impressions of his first 3 weeks in the big leagues?
Well, you know what? I think the thing that jumps out at you is, you know, it's a couple things. Number one, he's not intimidated. You know, number 2, I think the thing that everybody talked about with him based on his minor league career, as short as it was, even though, you know, maybe people want to, you know, the superstars, they hit 400 in the minor leagues and it just doesn't happen. But everybody talked about his approach and his consistent approach to at bats. And, you know, I've seen a lot of that, which is great to see. And, you know, it's fun now too, seeing, I know the Braves kind of handled him with, what's that saying, kid gloves or whatever early on. But and you know, there was some criticism of him not facing guys like Scherzer early on, but not anymore. He's facing everybody now, and he's hanging in there. He's doing more. I shouldn't say he's hanging in there. He's done more than hang in there. I mean, he's played very well, and I think shown the maturity that so many people in the Braves organization talked about before he got here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Base is empty for Dansby, and he checked his swing. Joe West with the call at first. I can't imagine how hard it is to win a game, much less 20 or 300 in the major leagues. I can't imagine how hard it is to hit 300 in your first 3 weeks in the big leagues.
Yeah, no, certainly not easy, but it's been fun to watch.
Driven to right. Harper played him shallowly. He's on a dead sprint. That ball is over his head and up against the fence. Dansby Swanson has a 2-out, 2-strike double. Well, I think Bryce Harper and the Nationals were surprised by Swanson's opposite field power there. He hit that ball very hard.
Yeah, you know, I know a lot of pitchers like their opposite fielder to play in a little bit and take away the blooper, because that's the one you think you made a good pitch on, and typically the one that they drive over their head was your mistake. And I think in that case it was Scherzer's mistake. Got a fastball up a little bit that Dansby was able to drive and got it over Bryce's head for the double.
So Scherzer has an option here. He can go after Lally or pitch around him with the pitcher Ryan Weber on deck. 2 outs, 6-1. Excuse me, 5-1 Washington as this ball's bounced up the middle. Diving play Murphy from an E. He threw a strike to first, and a big play by Daniel Murphy keeps Swanson from scoring. A 2-out double is wasted by the Braves. Murphy, not only with his bat but with his glove, having a super year. It's 5-1 after 4. Nationals lead it. I think it's 5-1. Atlanta trailing the Nationals here in game 1 of our weekend series. And Tommy, Joe and I have been on quite a roll as far as our Turner Field trivia is concerned. Just a handful of questions left, and tonight's question is, who holds the Nationals Expos franchise record for most career homers at Turner Field?
All right, think about that.
Remember, the Nationals were the old Montreal Expos. And just so our legion of fans at home keeping score, the booth leads the dominatrix of trivia by a full game, 6-5 in the head-to-head trivia.
So she's been off her game a little, huh?
No, we have been rolling.
You guys have been on?
Yes. I mean, we've had some like last gasp, last guess answers that we've just pulled out of thin air. Turned out to be right.
That I'm sure you get accused of cheating. When
of course, yes. Wouldn't be the same without that. So good question tonight. Most homers as a Nat Expo, I should say, in Turner Field. And you have to pay very close attention to the wording. Remember, the Braves didn't get in here until '97. So
yes.
And the Nationals weren't in Washington until '05. So there's a nice gap in between there where a few Montreal players might sneak into consideration. As Bryce Harper takes strike 3. Weber has struck out 5 straight hitters.
You just got to strike everybody out. know if that was a sinker or it looked like a backup slider, which is the greatest pitch in the game if you could ever do it on purpose. Unfortunately, nobody can do it on purpose.
Rendon has a 2-run hit and has been hit by a pitch. In fact, he was the first man Weber faced in relief of John Gant tonight. Another strike. Weber's thrown 34 pitches. Only 8 have missed the strike zone. Driven to right. Markakis diving try. Can't get it. The ball ricochets off his body. And Rendon is aboard, and that snaps the very impressive strikeout string for Ryan Weber. A second hit for Rendon. Who was the toughest out for you as an Expo?
Oh man. Had a few good ones over the years. Larry Walker, Andres Galarraga when he was in that lineup.
Mike Lansing.
Lansing, yeah, he was tough.
The G-man, Mark Grudzelanek. They just had some good
they had
players.
Some good, solid players. Yeah, those are the guys that were typically more trouble for me. The gap-to-gap guys, the guys that were willing to take singles, and the home run guys were a little bit easier to pitch to.
Almost certainly FP Santangelo wouldn't be on that list.
No. Is he here tonight?
Nope.
No.
Nope. He's got this series off. Ray Knight is working on the Nationals TV side. Former big league manager, pride of Albany, Georgia. 0-1 pitch. He is driven down the right field line. Foul. And Ramos back to the plate. 0-2. Nothing in 2. And a good stab by Tyler Flowers. You see on that sign behind home plate, big day here tomorrow. It's Bobby Cox bobblehead day. Gio Gonzalez is slated to pitch for the Nationals. The Braves have not officially announced their starter. There are a number of candidates that are available to pitch. We will probably know more officially after our game tonight.
Could be a Harvey Holstaff tomorrow.
Could be. A lot of that depends on how this one goes and how many pitchers Brian Snitker has to use. Weber's due first when Atlanta comes up in the 5th. So we'll see how Brian plays it. Bouncing ball hit towards short. Might be 2. There's 1. There's 2. Thank you very much. Ramos is hitting to his second 6-4-3 double play, and Ryan Weber continues his excellent relief work.
As we head to the bottom of the 5th inning, and we mentioned 2 Braves minor league teams in action tonight. Let's touch out to Rome's game with our Xfinity game break. 5th inning, tied ball game. Anthony Seymour with an RBI double to give Rome the lead, and the Braves would go on to add another run that inning on Acuna's sac fly. The good guys are up 6-1 in the bottom of the 7th right now. Gwinnett down 3-0 in the 7th.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. I understand Max Fried has 13 strikeouts in that game as well. He has been incredibly good, as have so many of those starting pitchers down with the Rome Braves. That's so very exciting to think about what could be happening in the next 2 or 3 years with that group of kids.
Well, it's nice, you know, with all the talk of how much better the Braves minor league system is and built back up. It's, you know, it's nice to see those 3 teams in particular, obviously, in the playoffs. And you know, certainly minor league baseball is not about winning, it's about developing. But when you're developing and winning, that's a pretty good sign.
Let me ask you about that, because not so long ago, we all know what happened in '91 here in Atlanta, but in the mid to late 80s, you were one of those guys like a Colby Allard or a Max Fried or a Mike Soroka or a Max Pavsey, pitching in the minor leagues, working your craft, hoping to progress and advance, and dreaming perhaps about Major League Baseball. What was that experience like from a minor leaguer's perspective, knowing that the Major League club was looking forward to your future as well?
You know, it was the kind of thing that, you know, at least in my case, you know, you kind of figure out pretty early on that high draft picks are going to get their chance to move through the organization, and most likely you're going to get a chance at some point in time to play at the big league level. So, you know, I think I kind of knew that, but you know, fortunately for me, I was having success along the way. It wasn't like, hey, you're a high pick, so we're just going to keep moving you, and,
right.
and you know, if you fail, you fail. But so I was having success along the way, but I don't think I wasn't really very in tune with what was going on at the big league level. You know, you knew a little bit. You'd watch some games, you know, from time to time, particularly when I was playing in Greenville. You know, you'd catch a lot of Braves games on TV up there, so you know, you'd see some things. But
line to short. Drew handles that shot from Inciarte, 2 outs.
But I really wasn't in tune with what the direction of the club was, so to speak. You know, but then next thing you know, you find yourself in the big leagues as a part of, you know, the Smoltz Doyle Alexander trade, and then you kind of see, okay, the cleaning of the house, so to speak, and young guys coming along, and I was a part of that, and you knew guys were going to get an opportunity and continue to get opportunities. But you know, it was a neat experience, kind of going through each rung, trying to get going, trying to get to the big leagues, making some friendships, leaving some guys behind because you moved on and they didn't. So it was an interesting process.
Would you describe it as a bubble almost? Because your point about not seeing the big league club play, heck, you were playing at the same time. That's the nature of our sport.
Absolutely.
You've got your own team, your own problems to worry about, not what's happening to guys that are 2 or 3 levels above you.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, you were very sheltered, so to speak, in that it was so much about what your team at your level was doing, you know, and it was interesting to, you know, and I think it's still this way. That double-A team I played on in Greenville was a lot of fun. There was a lot of guys on that team that ended up here, and it was a lot of big prospects. And you know, I was almost disappointed when I got called up to AAA and had to leave those guys.
Well, that makes sense. But that's the nature of it too. I would assume, as you said, winning and developing at the same time is a lot of fun. Winning and developing with a core group of guys that you can rise through the system and then get to the big leagues with at the same time. That's probably the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and I think that's what made the experience here so much fun. There were so many guys, particularly, you know, that 91, 92, 93 teams. There were so many guys that we played together in the minor leagues. You know, and to go through that process and then ultimately get here to the big leagues and then see the turnaround here at the big league level, and you know, play playoff baseball, ultimately win a World Series. And you know, again, I think that's part of what made that '95 World Series so much fun. Was not only was it a lot of guys that were on those teams that lost together, but like I said, it was a lot of guys that I played a lot of minor league baseball with together too.
2-2 pitch missed low for Garcia. Full count for Max Scherzer, who leads by a 5-1 score.
It's a much smaller world now, though. I think, you know,
that was my
across
next
the
question.
board.
Yeah,
you know,
you didn't have a cell phone or a.
No, I mean there's so much more awareness of who these guys are now when they get here than there was when I went through it.
Driven to first, and Zimmerman with a diving stab handles that hot smash, and that takes care of Adonis Garcia and the Braves in the 5th inning. Great play by Ryan Zimmerman, a terrific third baseman in his day. He made a terrific play as the first baseman tonight. Well, there's our booth guest, Josh Turner, with the honors tonight. Heels off the number 9. Just 8 home games remain here at Turner Field.
Followed instructions well. That way.
Got the point, the smile, the wave, and the tomahawk chop too. Terrific young man. We wish him luck with his continuing musical career. This is Ryan Zimmerman. And he takes a ball. 1 ball, no strikes. Great diving play at first by Zimmerman, who is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Washington 2 in the first, 3 in the second. And now a bouncer to short. Dansby's got it. Sets his feet and fires a strike. There's the first out. And Stephen Drew is next. Keep you up to date on the other scores. There are a lot of playoff important games tonight. Let's start in Philadelphia, where Miami is winning 2-0 over the Phillies. That game's in the 6th. The Mets do not have a game left this year against a team with a winning record. Tonight they host Minnesota, and behind Bartolo Colon they lead 3-0. The Dodgers are in Arizona tonight. That game starts in about 25 minutes or so. The Cardinals are in San Francisco to play the Giants. The Giants are trying to catch the Dodgers in the National League West. Giants are 4 back. And San Francisco with a 1-game lead over the Mets for the number 1 wild card spot. Get you the AL scores in a second. The 0-2 pitch to Drew is popped into left center field. Kemp on the run, still going. He's going to make a diving grab. The layout with a full Sukahara, and Matt Kemp with a terrific catch for the second out.
Boy, what a nice play. Got a good jump on it. Fortunately, off the bat of a left-hander, it's kind of tailing back to him a little bit. Went a long way and laid out. Great catch. Ryan Weber happy with that.
So 2 away for Scherzer, who will have to deal with the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Braves in the 6th. And a strike. AL games. Tampa Bay is playing the role of the spoiler again. They're beating Baltimore 4-3. That game's in the 8th inning. Cleveland 6, Detroit 4 in the 6th. Ground ball up the middle. Dansby's got it. That ball had topspin and it rolled right to him. 3 outs on 8 pitches for Ryan Weber, who is dealing tonight. Let's see if the Braves bats can get to work down 4 runs. With only 41,000 seats and a modern cantilever design, SunTrust Park will offer maximized sightlines and the ability for fans to sit closer to the action than any other park in baseball. More than 10,000 fans have already secured their season tickets, and areas of the ballpark are already sold out. Don't delay. Get your SunTrust Park season tickets today by visiting Braves.com/SunTrustPark. Markakis, Kemp, and Flowers are coming up. The Braves offense to this point has been handcuffed by Max Scherzer, but that, Tom, has not normally been the case.
No, it hasn't. Like we were talking about, this offense has done some great things, and particularly since August the 30th. See their ranks: runs per game 5.9, tied for first; average tied for first; on base percentage, OPS, all first. So they've been scoring some runs, getting guys on base. They've just run up against a tough customer here tonight, Max Scherzer.
Well, let's see if Nick can spark the numbers you saw in the Georgia Lottery jackpot, leading off the 6th. He doubled in the 3rd. In fact, the Braves a little frustrated. They have 2 two-out doubles in as many innings, but have not been able to add to their run total yet. Again, Nick Markakis in the number 3 spot on the lineup, with Freddie Freeman on a bit of a paternity leave tonight. Second time he's batted 3rd this year. And off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two and 1. I think another interesting question for Dusty Baker, with a 4-run lead and Max Scherzer on the mound. How long does he let Max Scherzer pitch in this game? He has about 9,000 relief pitchers available in his bullpen. And I would assume, and it's only an assumption, every inning you save now is an inning you might have for Max Scherzer in postseason play.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, they're going to pay attention to, you know, innings, obviously, pitch count, a little bit of both. You know, as we've talked about, either one of those by themselves can be a little bit misleading. But I don't think you're going to see, as Nick Markakis takes ball 4, I don't think you're going to see Washington let Scherzer go out there and throw 130 pitches in a 9-inning game or anything crazy like that.
Well, he's a workhorse. He's gone 7 or more innings by himself 19 times this year. The Braves, who've used 15 different starters, matching a franchise record, have seen a starter pitch 7 innings or more a total of 27 times.
Yeah, it's like we talked about that. Making those 34, 35 starts a year, pitching 200+ innings, man, that is such a huge asset to have in your rotation.
But a question for you. We know Steven Strasburg is hurt. He hurt himself against the Braves up in D.C. He's got an elbow problem. And they were counting on Scherzer and Strasburg to be a big 1-2 punch in the playoffs for the Nationals. I don't know if Strasburg's going to pitch again this year. But Steven Strasburg with 15 wins and unavailable, that really has to put a big crimp in the Nationals pitching plans.
No question about it. I mean, look, it's, you know, when you talk about the two of those guys, obviously that's a big deal. And you know, you're talking about two really, you know, two guys that have that really electric stuff that can carry you through a playoff. And then, you know, you have both of those guys and you throw in Tanner Roark. Now all of a sudden you're 3 really deep, and your 4th guy, Gio Gonzalez, is pretty darn good too. But
base hit the other way. Matt Kemp with a couple of hits, and the Braves are in business. 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Take a look at this swing.
Well, it's another, just fight the ball the other way a little bit. Pitched down and away, went with it, fought it off, found a hole, and just a good piece of hitting. That's like we talk about a lot. You know, good base hits are not always the result of bad pitches. That was a pretty good pitch that, you know, Matt just did a nice job of fighting off and getting enough of it.
So the Braves have their first real threat since the 2nd inning. They also had 2 on, nobody out in that frame. And Tyler Flowers, with the lone Braves RBI, hits again with a man at 3rd base, and he shoots one toward Harper and right. Pretty well hit. Bryce going back to the edge of the warning track. He'll have room. That's going to score Markakis. Kemp will also tag and move up 90 feet. A very productive out for Tyler Flowers to make it a 5-2 game. Two RBI night for Tyler Flowers. And now Gordon Beckham is the batter. Can't think of a better way to celebrate your 30th birthday than a run scoring hit in a big league game. Off the plate. Ball 1. Beckham in the lineup because Jace Peterson turned an ankle doing some extra work during infield practice today. Jace was originally in the lineup.
Yeah, hopefully that's nothing too serious.
Gordon Beckham lifetime on his birthday, 5 hits and 15 at bats with a homer and 2 RBIs. Long ball here would be fun to see. The 1-1 didn't get it. Braves cashed in a leadoff walk. Now have Kemp at second with one out. That's hit a mile, but foul. And a fan from Villa Rica, Georgia, makes the catch.
Nice, good play.
Beckham pops it out of play again. AL games of interest tonight. Boston 5, Yankees 2. Boy, the Yankees had a heartbreaker last night. Gave up 5 runs to the Red Sox in the 9th.
Yeah.
Oakland's playing the role of the spoiler. They just swept Kansas City in 4 games. They're beating Texas 3-2 tonight. But the big games, Toronto and LA later, Houston in Seattle. The Mariners are red hot. They've won 8 in a row. And it's tipped and caught. Scherzer with a grunt and a little extra velocity at 97 miles an hour earns strikeout number 7.
Second time tonight he got a little grunt. Trying to get that little extra gear.
But isn't that funny? I mean, Scherzer, all due respect, has sat 93, 94 all night. But then when he needs it, boom.
But I love it. You know, and that's what I talk about all the time with so many guys you see now. They can't do that because every pitch is max effort. You know, I mean, he's figured out, okay, at 92, 95, I can sink it, I can locate it, I can be pretty effective. Yeah, I can get to 97.
Line drive, Murphy from the ground. Scoop it first, ain't in time. That ball came off the bat looking like it was headed for center field. It fooled me. But Murphy robs Swanson, and the Braves settle for 1 in the 6th. Well, a couple of twin killings turned in by the Braves. Ramos bounced into 2 6-4 threes. But the story tonight is the relief work of Ryan Weber. He has come out of nowhere, and Tom has been dazzling.
Wow, and he's done exactly what the Braves needed him to do. He's come in, he's settled things down, kept the Nationals off the board, and you know, kept the Braves in this game. But like we've said,
as Trey Turner has another hit.
As we've said, you know, Scherzer's been tough and runs are tough to come by, but the Braves are still certainly in this game after getting behind early, due in large part to Ryan Weber's work.
Braves relief corps has done very good work as far as the strikeouts are concerned. Weber has added to that total tonight with 5 of his own, including 5 in a row. Last Braves pitcher to strike out 5 straight hitters was Julio Teheran last year. He did that against the Cincinnati Reds. One of those strikeout victims was Jason Worth. Did you ever have your catcher tell a hitter that was just wearing you out what was coming, just to try to get into his head a little bit?
Not that I know of. Now they may have, but not that I know of. No.
Because the Braves got to do something about Turner.
Yeah.
I mean, they've tried just about everything. They can't get him out. 3 more hits. And he is one of the fastest players in the game. Earlier this season, he hit a ball to left field that was a triple to left.
That's tough to do.
And then stole home in the same sequence.
That's just rubbing it in there.
Yeah, and there he goes. Pitch out. Flowers. His throw sailed, and the tag on the foot, and Turner in safely with his first stolen base of the game, his 25th of the year. You know you're good when they still pitch out and you still steal the base almost easily.
Yep. That sailed just a tiny bit on Tyler, and don't know if it was the difference or not, but sailed a touch on him.
So Jason Worth with 2 hits and 2 runs, chance to add to his RBI total. He's got 62 of them on the year. A little low. Weber's thrown 4 1/3 shutout relief innings. This will be his last inning one way or the other. His spot in the batting order is due second when the Braves hit after the 7th inning stretch. And there is action in the pen. Pitch to Worth is a little low. And it's former National Ian Kroll. Little pop into right. Markakis had Worth played perfectly. So Turner has to hold at second. There's the first out of the inning. And here's Daniel Murphy. And with Murphy and Harper, 2 left-handed bats coming up in order. That'll be the end of the line for Ryan Weber, who was absolutely brilliant in his relief stint tonight. After John Gant went an inning and a third, Weber's gone 4 2/3. And he'll leave with Trey Turner at first base. He has given the Braves bats a chance to try to catch up tonight, and he leaves with a big ovation. October is National Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and since 1998, Hyundai Hope Wheels has raised over $115 million to help find a cure for pediatric cancer. Yesterday, your local Atlanta Hyundai dealers presented a grant check to help further research right here in our own community at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Every handprint tells a story. Learn more at HyundaiHopeOnWheels.org. And Tom, I know for you and Chris, that is a charitable endeavor very close to your heart.
Yes, it is. It's great to see that, and certainly the folks over at Aflac do tremendous work with the kids and the families, so it's great to see that. And just boy, those kids, those families, parents, man, they're just such an inspiration for the fight they fight.
So our thanks to Hyundai and the great folks at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. Great work for Ryan Weber. 53 pitches over his 4 2/3. And now it's Ian Kroll to face Daniel Murphy. And a ball in the dirt. Flowers block that. Left, right doesn't bother Daniel Murphy. He's only hitting .325 against left-handed pitchers this year. .358 against righties. And Kroll missed with ball 2.
Well, he's had another good night at the plate here, another RBI, but more importantly for the Nats, he's saved them a couple of runs defensively tonight. Made a couple of nice plays on the infield.
Kroll's had some extended rest. Hopefully that'll help him. Rough time of it last time out. Gave up 4 hits, 2 runs against the Marlins. Didn't retire a batter. In fact, in Ian's last 2 appearances, he's given up 6 hits.
Yeah, Nationals fans do not want to see that.
Runner goes. Flowers throw to third is going to be late. Trey Turner has 2 stolen bases in the inning.
Good throw by Tyler. He stole that one off Kroll. Got a good jump. Good throw, but beat it.
Davey Lopes, the first base coach of the Nationals, is no fan of the headfirst slide, but it's a reactionary play, Trey Turner has said. And got the hand in ahead of the tag. Boy, that can lead to some problems if you're unlucky.
Yeah, I'm with him. I don't like it either.
Infield comes in for Murphy with a full count. It's almost impossible to strike this guy out. And Murphy with a line drive to left. Kemp makes the catch. Turner tags. He's coming home. And the throw will be off target. And it's a sacrifice fly for Murphy. His 3rd RBI of the game. And Trey Turner helps the Nationals manufacture a 7th inning run. And that's another part of their offense I don't think it's talked enough about. Come playoff time, that's exactly the way you have to play.
Yeah, you're going to need a fair amount of that. You know, as good as teams can be offensively, yeah, you'll have some games here and there where you'll beat the ball around the ballpark and do all that, but by and large games are going to be tight, and that's the kind of inning right there that can make the difference in a lot of playoff games.
So that run is charged to Ryan Weber, and Bryce Harper's the hitter. He has walked twice. He has struck out once. And a little low. Ball 1. Sharply hit, but right into the shift, and Swanson makes the play and retires Harper and the Nationals in the 7th. Trey Turner with a single, 2 steals, and his 3rd run scored helps the Nationals to a 4-run lead.
The Braves trail 6-2 as we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it is Hispanic Heritage Night here at Turner Field during Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, during BP, the Braves wore a shirt that has a new updated MLB logo on it with an accent. It is a new campaign sponsored by MLB and spearheaded by Dodgers first baseman Adrian Gonzalez called Ponle Acento. It's an effort to recognize the influence of the game's Latino players by putting accent marks on the names of their jerseys. Now, at least 235 players who appeared on opening day rosters were of Latino descent. Guys, that's more than 27% of the league, and 8 of the 32 on the current Braves roster are of Latino descent here as well.
And what a remarkable contribution players from Latin America have made to our game. Heck, players from all over the world, but certainly the Latin American countries, South America too, Venezuela in particular. What a great idea by Major League Baseball to salute those players, the fans of those players, and in my humble opinion, one more step ought to be taken. Let's retire Roberto Clemente's number.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Yeah, no, it's great to see. Certainly the Latin American players were, you know, kind of the first and really have made a huge impact in the game and you know, led the way really for the globalization of baseball.
Little squibber by Lally. Drew off balance, and Zimmerman, what a scoop at first. He's had to make a couple of really tough plays tonight. That one by Drew, who ended up in foul ground near home plate.
That was a great play on both ends.
Wow. Long hop. And one out. Well, here's a sight for sore eyes. Let's welcome back Mallex Smith. Mallex Smith got hurt when he was hit by a pitch. Broke his thumb. And the shame of that for Mallex, besides the injury, he was really figuring things out, Tom. He had really taken huge steps forward.
Yeah, you know, injuries are never good. They never come at a good time. But, you know, some more so than others. And certainly in Mallex's case, like I said, he was starting to figure things out a little bit, contributing, you know, getting better both offensively and defensively. Then that happens. And, you know, next thing you know, now it's a crowded outfield. He's going to have a hard time getting playing time.
Driven toward left, and Mallex Smith is back in the show with a base hit to left. He made his major league debut April 11th against the Nationals and went 1 for 3. He's missed 77 games with that fractured left thumb.
Fastball up a little bit, and kind of your typical left-handed hitter. They like that fastball up, out over the plate, away from them, and Malik's got it and drove it to left field. Welcome back.
Well, a good test here. Wilson Ramos, one of the best catch and throw catchers in the big leagues, and Malik's can fly. Let's see if he's running. It's a 6-2 game. Line drive into right field, base hit. He's around second. He's going to slam on the brakes as Harper got to it fast. And Ender Inciarte's 1 for 4, and the Braves have 2 on, trailing by 4. '83 hits for Inciarte since the All-Star break. And now Garcia. Again, the Braves are 1 long ball away from making this a very interesting game.
Yeah, they've had, a couple chances. Their innings that they scored their runs were kind of like quick strikes, start of the inning, and then they kind of faded after that. And another opportunity here maybe to put a couple more on the board.
But Scherzer has fed him a steady diet of sliders and breaking balls.
Yeah, he's going to have to either make a mistake with that slider or try and out-trick himself and try and sneak a fastball by Garcia, and hope that doesn't happen.
Strike 2.
I'm guessing somebody tried to call timeout there and didn't get it.
It's a request, not automatic.
Too bad too, because there was the fastball
right down Peachtree. Now he's got to work hard to protect an 0-2 count. What a stop.
Tried to get it again. Tried to call timeout, but it was too late. It's almost like Scherzer was holding the ball, waiting to see if it tried to call timeout, and that's when he tried to make his pitch. So we get him caught in between.
It's something Scherzer works on, holding the baseball, adjusting his delivery times to throw off the hitter's tempo. And he takes care of Garcia with his 8th strikeout. But he's not out of trouble yet, because Nick Markakis is coming up, and there has not been a more productive hitter for the Braves this year, in my opinion, than this guy with RISP and 2 outs.
He's as good as there's been, and big reason why he's had such a good year.
Strike inside corner. Markakis hitting .314 with runners in scoring position this year. .30 of his RBIs have come with 2 outs. He jumped all over that baby and ripped it into the upper deck, as foul as you can make it, over the Braves dugout.
That is hard for a left-handed hitter to hit a ball up there.
I mean, that was 30 rows up in the upper deck over the Braves dugout.
Yeah, it's like almost directly behind Nick as he's standing in the batter's box.
Wow. But Scherzer quickly ahead 0-2. Saw the Nationals bullpen working. I think it was Blake Trinan was up and throwing.
Yeah, I got to imagine this will be it for Scherzer. Goes in 100 pitches, 7 innings. He's had a couple stressful innings.
But again, to the point we made earlier, he gets his strikeouts almost not by accident, but they just come with great stuff.
Right.
And he has 100 pitches with 8 punch-outs.
He's had a couple first pitch outs, or a couple early count outs.
1 ball, 2 strikes. We'll do it again. Mets finished off Minnesota. That's a 3-0 final score. So the Mets, at the very least, will hold on to the second wild card spot. They're in the catbird seat right now because the Giants and Cardinals are playing each other, so they're going to gain ground on somebody, either ahead of them or below them. The Nationals' magic number to win the East is at 7. The best they can do tonight is make it 6 if they hold on to a 6-2 lead. And Markakis hanging tough. Right across the shoe tops. It's even. Scherzer needs 1 more out to pitch his 20th game of 7 innings or more. Tonight's his 31st start. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Good take. I'm sure Dusty Baker would love to bring on Trinan in a clean inning. He may not have a choice. If Markakis can keep the inning alive. Scherzer got ahead 0-2. Now it's a full count.
Yeah, he's been getting good looks at that breaking ball. See if he tries to go back to that fastball down and away.
Runners lead, runners go, and it's skied into right field, right at Bryce Harper, who's in a couple of steps, and Scherzer has gone 7 innings, allowing 2 Atlanta runs. He is amazing. We go to the 8th. Nationals lead game 1. The aces pitch, isn't it? Max Scherzer showed you why he's a #1 top of the rotation guy, and he's the subject of our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms feature. Tommy.
Major league leaders in strikeouts. You see him at the top of the list with 259. Jose Fernandez is right there. Baumgartner, Archer, Verlander. So some pretty good arms, but the top of the list is Scherzer, and continued that again tonight. And not surprising, 68% of his outs are by strikeout. So
yeah,
that's pretty impressive.
What they say in Bull Durham, they're fascist. Put the ball, let somebody hit the ball, for crying out loud. Get your teammates involved. But 7 terrific innings for Scherzer, who's in line for his 17th win. Chaz Rowe's going to come on and pitch the 8th for the Braves. Chaz has done nice work. And he will have Rendon, Ramos, and Zimmerman coming up. Ball outside to Rendon. You want to talk about a guy whose pitch explodes away from right-hand hitters? You're looking at him on the mound. I don't know how Chaz does it, but he has sliders that just drop off the table.
Yeah, it's kind of the disappearing slider.
1 ball, 1 strike. Baltimore came back and beat Tampa Bay tonight 5-4. That's a huge win for the Orioles. Chris Archer, by the way, started that game for Tampa Bay. He's 8-18. At least he was at the start of play tonight. And he started action with 217 strikeouts over in the American League, but still 18 losses. That doesn't seem possible. One and 2 for Rendon. Nobody on or out. And there's the slider. Rendon didn't get it. So Rendon with 2 hits is down on strikes. 1 away.
That disappearing breaking ball just kind of keeps on going. That one was a little bit up, but still with the action on it, got away with it.
I don't know the answer to this, but I'm guessing that Rowe must have one of the highest spin rates with that slider in.
Well, I'm sure somebody's got that information.
Ramos bounces 1 foul, and he's down a strike.
So if you were to ask Rendon what he thought the spin rate was, I'm sure he'd say, I don't know, but it was really good.
Yes. Too fast.
It was a really good pitch.
Yeah. Adonis guards the line at third for Ramos. And there's another slider. It's slud, as Dizzy Dean would have said. Dodgers have jumped on the Diamondbacks 2-0. That's early on out at Chase Field in Phoenix. Maeda and Greinke. You know that Zach Greinke has a 5-point ERA on his home mound, and facing his former mates trails by 2 in the 2nd inning.
Man, what a disappointment, obviously, with him and Shelby Miller out there. Had big expectations and just did not work out for them this year.
Swing and a miss. Ramos is down on strikes. Two up, 2 down. And here's Zimmerman. That's off the screen, and Rowe. It's been that kind of night for Ryan. Hitless at the plate, and then his own foul ball comes off the screen and smokes him right in the center of the back. Watch this.
I've seen that come close a bunch of times, but I don't think I've seen anybody get hit.
He said, "Hey Tyler, help a guy out, man." 0-2. Ryan Zimmerman's one of my favorite players in the National League, not just for what he's done, but for what he's overcome injury-wise. He's been such a classy representative for the Nationals franchise since they drafted him. Raises a lot of money for multiple sclerosis research. As he takes strike 3. Once this series ends, we'll wish Zimmerman well and look forward to seeing him again in 2017. Great inning for Rowe. 3 strikeouts. Home 8th coming up.
Atlanta Braves baseball is sponsored by Georgia Power and Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
Well, maybe after the game, Tom and I will head over to the varsity for a chili steak, a couple of FOs. Great way to finish off a night of Braves baseball. And before we say goodnight tonight, let's check out our Toyota Tweet of the Week. This week's question is, who's the best leadoff hitter in Braves history? Tweet us at Fox Sports South using hashtag StartOffStrong, and your answer could be read during our Braves live post-game show. Well, there are a lot of choices. You could go Rafael Furcal. You could go Otis Nixon. You could go Ralph Garr, just to name a few.
Did Gator lead off most of the time here?
Pretty sure he did.
Yeah. Brett Butler had some good years here.
Forgot about Brett.
I'm sure there were some guys on those Milwaukee teams that I don't remember.
So Max Scherzer is out of the ball game. Blake Trinan has taken over on the mound, and he'll face Matt Kemp, who's had a good night tonight. Matt over the 1,500 hit plateau with a second inning double. That's a play that turned into the first Atlanta run. And hit number 1501 came in his last at bat in the 6th. Kemp will take an 8-game hitting streak into game 2 of the series here tomorrow. Gio Gonzalez will pitch for the Nationals. The Braves have not announced their starter yet. And this guy's nasty. Blake Trinan. He throws hard, like so many relievers do in the big leagues today.
Fastball 94, 98. Slider and a changeup, predominantly fastball slider.
Now, I know you get sick to your stomach when we talk about Mauricio Cabrera's 91, 92 mile-an-hour changeup, right?
I wouldn't say sick to my stomach, just envious.
Just envious. Okay, that's fine. I can that's maybe a better word. But how about Blake Trinan? He throws a 100 mile-an-hour sinker.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wait a minute, if you throw in a 100 mile-an-hour sinker and you can command it, you really don't need anything else. I mean, it's hard enough to make contact on that, let alone square it up.
Last 8 games, Trinan has struck out 8. He's allowed 4 hits and no runs. He'll try to set it up for Melanson in a 4-run game. And a swing and a miss. Breaking ball got Kemp. Trinan gets his inning off to a good start. 1 away.
That was filthy, as they say.
Who knows? Maybe this is a man that will end up being the Nationals closer someday.
Well, he's got the stuff to do it, clearly. You know, it's all about command and can you do it in that pressure. And
Tyler Flowers, the hitter. He's knocked in both Braves runs. In a way, this is kind of the way it was done in the old days when it came to relief pitchers and closers specifically. There was an apprenticeship that took place. In the old days, closers or relief pitchers were guys that weren't good enough to start and get a lineup out 3 times.
Right.
So if they had good stuff, they'd put them in the pen. And as their stuff got crisper and as they got more experience, they went from the 6th to the 7th to the 8th, and if you were lucky, the 9th inning.
Right. And you know, I mean, you look up and down these bullpens in baseball now, and you know, I don't want to, I hate to say because it sounds a little callous maybe, but you know, guys that are coming out of the bullpen and throwing 95, 96 are almost a dime a dozen, you know, and they all have a decent breaking ball. But you know, what's separating those guys from 6th inning work to 8th or 9th inning work? And it's what you just said. The stuff gets crisper, it gets more consistent. They're able to do it time after time. And you know, look, it gets back to the same old thing. I don't care if you throw 95 or 85. If you can't command it, they're going to hit it. And these guys that can command it are the guys that are pitching the back end of the game.
Ramos boxed that, and the count's 2-2. Melanson is up. To see when the last time Melanson pitched. Well, he pitched on the 14th. As it stands now, this is not a save situation. The lead's too big for Melanson. And that one through the 5-hole of Ramos and back to the screen. Full count. So there might have to be somebody else if Flowers reaches before the Nationals get to Melanson, who has been hit hard at times by the Braves this year. The pitch fouled away. In fact, Melanson's given up 4 earned runs in 7 1/3 innings against the Braves. And yes, the Nationals do chart.
I was wondering if that's what that was. I thought I was seeing things.
Strike 3. Flowers disagrees. He is rung up, and it's back-to-back strikeouts for Trinan. Nice comeback for him. And 2 are out.
Nasty bottom fall out of that.
Fans at home, especially the younger ones, don't remember or know what the charting did for the next day's starter. What did it do for you?
Well, it was essentially you kept score of the game, but I think the value that it has is it makes you pay attention. Makes you pay attention to what what's going on during the course of the game, how guys are getting guys out.
Driven toward right. Harper playing shallowly again. That's over his head. And Gordon Beckham has a birthday hit. He's on his way to second, and he'll stop there with 2 outs. That's twice tonight. Harper's gotten caught playing shallowly in right field, and 2 balls have zoomed over his head. One by Dansby Swanson, this one by Beckham in the 8th.
Well, you know, from a pitching standpoint, I love the fact that he plays shallow. Like I said, you want that opposite outfielder taking away the balls that are in front of him, like I said, because those are pitches that you've executed. That ball that goes over his head, while you might like to see him catch that ball and save a double, generally speaking, that's on you as a pitcher, because you put that ball was either elevated or you missed your spot that allowed him to drive that ball over that opposite outfielder's head. So you can, at least I could, you could always live with that.
So Dansby Swanson with 2 outs. And he takes a little low.
But back to the chart, you know, it was just it's a good way for you to pay attention to what's going on, kind of get your mind geared towards that lineup you're getting ready to face the next night, and how guys are going about getting them out. And it's a little tougher if the guy ahead of you is not your style of pitcher. You know, that makes it a little bit harder, but you still get a basic sense of whether it's fastballs or off-speed pitches or location, what the guy ahead of you is trying to exploit in order to get those guys out, and then you see how it matches up with what you want to do.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. Sandy Alomar Sr., great baseball guy, coach for a long time. You had Sandy, I think, with the Mets, right?
Yep.
He was in Chicago with the Cubs when I was there. Had a great saying, and I've never forgotten it. He said you can either watch the game or observe the game.
Yep.
And I would imagine the charting part helps you observe it.
Absolutely. That's nice and neat there too.
Right up your alley, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Let me guess, Maddox was the worst, sloppiest?
Of course.
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good stop.
Now Greg wasn't too bad. I think I've got a couple at home that I have framed, either some kind of milestone wins that he did. They were actually pretty good.
Do you like draw little farm animals or anything on the side of the margins?
No, he was pretty straightforward.
Okay. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Might have a few food stains on there. You know.
Full count. Good at bat by Swanson.
See, those guys over there, though, they gotta start working Dusty. That was probably the greatest thing that we ever did as starting pitchers, was convince Bobby that, you know, we really shouldn't do this from the dugout. We need to do it in the clubhouse and watch it on TV.
Oh. Swing and a miss. 96 miles an hour, and Trinan struck out the side with a Beckham double thrown in for good measure. We head to the 9th. Time for tonight's SunTrust Moments That Matter. And congratulations to the Rome Braves, champions after their victory tonight. And I have a feeling that as those youngsters progress through the Braves farm system, Tommy, we will see more and more celebrations from the men who are the South Atlantic League champions, the Rome Braves.
Yeah, let's hope so. Congratulations to those guys. First South Atlantic League title since 2003. See the starting pitchers in the postseason. 49 and a third innings pitch and an 0.73 ERA. Look at that, 50 strikeouts to 8 walks. That'll get it done at any level right there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's a congratulations at any level. Having that experience of winning a title is pretty special. So that's a pretty special time for those guys.
And speaking of special, congratulations to Randy Engel, the manager in Rome. Earlier this summer, he picked up his 1,500th minor league win as a manager.
Yeah, another great guy in the Braves organization. Another guy that, like Brian Snitker, spent a lot of time in this organization. Guy I played with and was a coach with me, and just a good guy. And those kids down there in Rome are in great hands.
So Shea Simmons is the new Atlanta pitcher. You cannot quibble at all with the relief of Atlanta's arms tonight. They have done great work. Weber, 4 2/3 innings of 2-hit 1-run ball. Kroll, 2/3 scoreless. Rose struck out the side in the 8th. And now Shea Simmons will face Stephen Drew, the pitcher's spot, and then Trey Turner.
Yeah, the relief corps has done a spectacular job tonight and really kept this game to where it's still within reach.
2 balls and a strike. Wind begins to pick up a little bit. Gentle breeze blowing from right toward left. All in all, a perfect Friday night for baseball. Fireworks to follow. Crowd of 33,618 got the weekend off to a start tonight. Braves and Nats are back at it at 1 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be a national telecast on Big Fox. And Tom will join Joe Simpson and me for Sunday's homestand finale. And then we make our final road trip to New York and Miami.
We think Joe will be back.
Well, that's true.
I mean, he's supposed to be in theory, but
yeah,
we'll see.
If we can awaken him from his food coma, we'll
yeah.
We'll wheel him in for the open on Sunday morning. Popped up and out of play by Drew. Wow, Phillies have tied Miami 3-3. Miami can ill afford any kind of missteps. They were up 3-0 in that game. Rodney or Ramos, I wonder who had trouble. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a line drive into center by Drew. So while the big network stars take over for you tomorrow afternoon, it's also Bobby Cox carried off bobblehead day. The first 20,000 fans here at Turner Field will get that giveaway presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Go to Braves.com/tickets to get your seats today. So Brian Goodwin's the batter. Goodwin bats for Trinan, who struck out the side. Goodwin debuted in the big leagues August 6th against the Giants. He hit .280 at Syracuse, 14 homers, stole 15 bases, and was 5th in the International League in RBIs with 68. Good-looking young player, can play all 3 outfield spots, and as he continues to develop, might be the man that replaces Jason Worth someday. Good cut and fouled straight back. No, fans, we have not forgotten about our Turner Field trivia question. Remember, name the last Nat/Expo, or the Nat or Expo, who's hit the most home runs here at Turner Field. Well, the Expos had such a great system, didn't they? Year after year, Fred Ferrero would find guys in the minor leagues and bring them up.
It'd be really interesting to see them in today's game, with revenue sharing being what it is. If that organization that was really considered by many to be the farm system for everybody, because they couldn't keep their players, it'd be interesting to see if in today's game they were able to do that a little bit better.
And as good as the Braves were for so long, those guys gave you fits, you individually and you collectively.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Popped up. That's over near the Braves dugout.
No.
Lolly has no play.
No, you know, that run of 14 straight division titles. 1994 was in serious jeopardy with that team that they had.
Yeah.
And had the strike not come, I don't know if we would have caught them or not, but they had such a good team that year.
And it's a shame. It's such a great city, and there's a huge push now to try to bring baseball back to Montreal, either via relocation or expansion. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it's funny. That was another city that initially going there I was not a huge fan of. I didn't like the food. It just wasn't, you know. And then after about 3 or 4 years of going there, and you find a few places that are pretty good, and it was always a fun trip.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, funny what French Cabernet will do for your palate.
For sure.
To Montreal. But I'd love to see baseball back in Montreal.
I would too. If there's, like you say, whether it's relocation or expansion, I'd love to see them get another shot at it.
That's tipped, and it got a piece of the umpire. Ripperger's all right, and the count stays full. Of course, baseball has said that Montreal, maybe Mexico City, are 2 places that are on the, I don't want to say short list, but on the list of potential sites for a new team. But the Tampa and Oakland situations with regards to their stadiums have to be resolved one way or the other first.
And they don't seem to be getting anywhere with those.
No. But what a great rivalry it would set up between Toronto and Montreal. 2 cities obviously within the same national boundaries, but I'm talking yin and yang as far as cultural sensibilities and everything else. I mean, that would be great. Drew is short lead at first. Nationals by 4. We're in the 9th. Shea Simmons delivers, and it's a double play ball. Sharply hit. Beckham to Swanson for 1. High throw, and Lolly held the bag. What a turn. Check the webbing, Gordon. That ball was smoked. 2 out.
Yeah, it was a tough play. That ball was hit hard. Gordon got to it. Had to gather himself a little bit. Nice flip. Dansby with the strong throw and able to hold the bag. Good play.
Nationals were contemplating a review, but Dusty Baker waves off the umpire. Good at bat by Goodwin, but he's retired by Gordon Beckham, who's getting old. He's all of 30. Trey Turner, the batter. 3 more hits for Turner against the Braves. Keeps playing like this, they might name a baseball stadium after him. And Braves Live, presented by Xfinity, is on your way after this game. If the Nationals protect this lead, Max Scherzer will pull into a three-way tie for the wins lead in the National League.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting vote as well for the Cy Young Award.
I was going to say, you don't hear Max Scherzer talked about perhaps as much as he should be, because the Cubs have had such great starting pitching. That ball's hammered toward left. Kemp on the run, still going, won't get there. That'll bounce up, and it's a ground rule double for Trey Turner. It's just unbelievable. He's 4 for 5 again against Atlanta.
Looked like a hanging breaking ball or a hanging changeup. It's impressive.
How long did you need in your head-to-head matchups with a player before you felt like you had a book or a reasonable idea of what worked and what didn't?
Oh, that's a good question.
And the reason I ask, again, with Turner tonight, he's now had 52 at bats against the Braves and he's got 24 hits. So it's obvious that whether by accident or by design, it isn't working.
No, exactly. No, by 50 at bats, you better have an idea how you want to try and get him out.
Right.
You know, now in this case, either that game plan is not working or you're just not executing it. Now tonight, given he's got a couple of mistakes and he hasn't missed them, you know, but I would say, you know, probably a couple times, maybe 10 at bats or so, to where you got a decent idea of what a guy is about.
Jason Worth, the batter, with 2 outs. Third time Turner's had a 4-hit game. And I think that's an interesting point you make, in that there are days you go out there and it doesn't matter what the hitter's doing, you're going to get him out.
Yeah.
And there are days where it doesn't matter what you do, he's going to torch you.
Yeah.
But somewhere there's a game where he's good, you're good, let's see what happens.
Right. Absolutely.
But Turner has, for Washington, done to their lineup what Matt Kemp has done to the Braves.
Right.
He has lengthened the lineup from the leadoff spot. He is on base all the time. Worth can hit second, he can advance him, and then the big boys chase him around. And Worth's going to try to chase him around with another hit of his own, and Turner just flies around third. He scores his 4th run of the game. In fact, Turner and Worth have scored 6 of the 7 Nationals runs tonight. And Jason Worth has a 3-hit game, and Brian Snitker is going to go get Shea Simmons, who's thrown 23 pitches in the 9th.
Another mistake. Fastball up over the plate.
So Shea Simmons gave up a run, 3 hits. He did get a double play ball, then he departs in a 5-run game. 4, including a 2-run homer tonight as he has paced the Nationals. That kind of output is more than enough for Max Scherzer, who, Tommy, has to be in the Cy Young discussion.
Oh, not only is he in the discussion, I think it's right now, I think it's between those two guys on the left. I think it's, well, I shouldn't say that. I think Scherzer, Arrieta certainly in there, but I would say the guy far right to me is the other guy that's going to be the biggest in contention too, is John Lester. He's just had a tremendous year for Chicago. You know, really kind of has solidified that rotation. He's anchored that rotation and, you know, just had a great year. I think it's between him and Scherzer.
Left-hander bias once again from
no.
But same question for you. Is too much of a good thing a bad thing with regards to the award process? The Cubs have 3 guys on that list, and you could make a case for any one of the 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think that of the 3, you know, of the potential there, I think Arrieta and Lester will split more votes than I think the Kendricks is going to take away from either of them, I think.
That'll be a fascinating vote, as will be the MVP. As Daniel Murphy jumps on the first pitch from Jed Bradley, and he's got another hit.
Yeah, I think in Arrieta's case, he may be his biggest downfall may be the year that he had last year.
Yeah, he's having a bad year.
Right. It's kind of like the Jordan Spieth effect on the PGA Tour, you know? I mean, it's hard to follow up a phenomenal year with another phenomenal year.
Just ask Bryce Harper.
Yes. Well, there's a reason why they call them career years, you know? I mean, it's that one special year. Now, you hope over time you string a bunch of them together and you have a bunch of good years, but any one of us can point at a year and say, yeah, that was my best year. And certainly for Arrieta, last year would be that year, and this year is not too shabby either.
Bradley missed downstairs to Harper. 1 ball, no strikes. Cleveland beat Detroit 11-4. Boston beat the Yankees 7-4. Toronto and Angels no score second. Houston got 2 early against Felix Hernandez in Seattle. Here at 7-2 Nationals, they had a 5-0 lead after 1.5. There's a strike. John Gant started the game for the Braves. John's a good kid, good pitcher. He just didn't have it tonight. That happens.
Yep.
Little flare out toward Swanson at short. He had Harper played perfectly again, and Bryce and the Nats are finished in the ninth. Pressure here as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's time for our Turner Field trivia question. Who holds the Nationals Expos franchise record for most career homers at Turner Field? And the key is you have to read the wording: Nationals and or Expos.
Yeah, and I see that. I just don't know if there were guys that had enough of layover between the two teams. Like, you know, one guy I'm thinking about is Vlad. Yeah, I don't know that he played enough games here.
Well, they had Alfonso Soriano. He had a 40 year.
Yeah,
but that was 1 year.
Yeah. So, you know, Zimmerman's probably had the most at-bats here.
Right.
I'll go with Vlad. I'm going to go with Vlad.
You're going to go Vlad? I'm going to go, because Soriano also played for the Cubs. I'm going to go Alfonso Soriano. Jose Vidro.
See, I thought about him too, but I didn't think he hit enough home runs. So
we had the position, but we didn't have the right guy. He was a good player too. Jose Vidro.
Only guy I gave up a grand slam to.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You only gave up one?
I gave up one. Off the foul pole too.
Was it here or was it up there?
It was up there. Oh, no, it was in New York actually.
In New York.
Yeah.
Wow. Blake Lally skies one toward left center. Sean Kelly, the pitcher. Turner makes the play, and there's the first out. Arbuckle Jenkins tells us you are knocking at the door because Zimmerman has 9. So just missed by 1. So the truck back even at 500 in trivia with MLB.TV Premium. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on more than 400 supported devices and enjoy a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. Sean Kelly will face Anthony Recker, who's a proud new papa. Anthony and his lovely wife Kelly welcomed Grady Vito Recker to the world earlier in the week. So he was away from the club for a couple of days. That's something else that's really changed for this generation's players. They have paternity leave.
Yes, they do.
Players can get a couple days, go home, bond with their newborn, and get back to work. That's a great thing.
Yeah, and unlike most of the rest of you guys, he and Freddie are looking forward to this road trip.
That is, though, isn't that one of the guiltiest phone calls?
Yeah.
You know, you fly in you land at 2 o'clock in the morning, and your wife calls at 8 o'clock just frazzled because so much is going on at home. And
yeah.
Oh, I'm so tired.
You've had a nice night's sleep. How was your night, honey? Well, I got up at 2, 4, 6. And then you're like, sorry I asked.
You're right. You learn pretty quickly to just be very empathetic, don't you? So those youngsters need some help. Tom and I are here for counseling before the next road trip. Braves fans, it's the final countdown. Get ready for a celebration in Braves country as we play the final games here at Turner Field. We'll have on-field selfies with players, the biggest fireworks show in history, and something special for each game in the final homestand. Go to Braves.com/final countdown and get all the details. Last hope is Ender Inciarte. Ender had a 7th inning hit. Washington was 7 runs and 12 hits. They did make an error, but too much Turner and Worth at the top of the order. Those two players combined for 7 hits, 6 runs.
Yeah, they set the pace tonight for sure. Max Scherzer got an early lead, and the way he's been throwing the ball, tough to come back from him. And like we said, when he gets 5+ since he's been a National, he's 17-0, and looks like that'll stand again tonight.
One ball, 2 strikes for Inciarte. And he loops a liner into left. A 2-hit game for Ender.
But I could be wrong. see.
His 84th hit since the break, most in the league. And another chance for Adonis Garcia, who's struck out twice in 4 trips.
Yeah, he squared up a fastball pretty good on Scherzer's first at bat, and then saw a steady dose of sliders after that.
One more note from the Braves bullpen I forgot to mention earlier in the game. Before the off day, we have the Marlins and Jose Fernandez here. As that one's tapped back to the mound. The Nationals have beaten the Braves by a 7-2 final score. Ramirez suspended 3 games. That's on appeal. And we'll talk more about that on Sunday afternoon. Tonight's story: Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, and Jason Worth. Those 3 were dominant, and the Nationals have been dominant. They're now 15-2 head-to-head with the Braves.
Yeah, they've had the Braves number, and tonight was no different. Max Scherzer on his game. Another strong performance. Another 7+ inning performance for him on the year. Had all his pitches going. 8 strikeouts. Got an early lead, and it was too much to overcome. 7 innings, 104 pitches, 8 strikeouts. Good ball game.
Nationals trim their magic number for the Eastern Crown to 6 games. They win tonight by 5. We'll recap it right after this.